I just played every Halo ever made to find out how this became one of the greatest FPS franchises ever and how it fell off so hard. Starting with the first Halo, Halo Combat Evolved. Released in 2001, this game started everything you love about Halo. Space weapons, weird aliens, Master Chief, series new update, and the beautiful, immense maps. Halo was also the first game to let you use joysticks to look around instead of the D-pad, and unlike other games, Halo did it right. Bungie, the nerds behind Halo, had no idea at the time that they were about to release one of the greatest games ever made. The maps are incredible and vast. You have to remember at the time, games were pretty linear, and most of the games, you had small maps, tight corridors. It just felt way too pre-scripted. And while Halo isn't exactly open world, it was ambitious in almost everything it tried to do. I mean, walking around a Covenant base for the first time was an experience. Let's start with the guns. Everything from the OP pistol and one-shot kills to the assault rifle to emptying an entire mag into a dude and just watching him shimmy away bring out so many memories and emotions. You couldn't find guns this creative in any other game. One of your main weapons is this pistol that's gonna get you the closest to feeling like John Wick. Double kill. Once you start using this, you're not gonna want to waste your time with the assault rifle. This is the worst gun in the entire game. You legit might as well just be shooting them with paper mache. But if you ever get bored of the human weapons, no worries, honestly good riddance, because you can pick up Covenant guns. Everything from the plasma pistol to the plasma rifle, which overheats more than a 20-year-old Chevy pickup truck, has its own unique ability and charm. One of the most satisfying moments in all of gaming is unloading a needler into a grunt and watching him explode. This is the kind of stuff that gets a young gamer bricked up. The sound design is incredible and produce what has now become one of the most recognizable sounds in all of gaming. Ooh, I still get goosebumps listening to that. But my favorite thing is how the Covenant sometimes speak perfect English. I'm the man! I am the man! But the ones you really gotta pucker your grundle up for are the elites. These invisible praying mantis looking things are actually pretty annoying and harder to cap. Finally, we have the hunters. These guys look like they formed from the scrap parts of a Subaru hatchback. Even the color matches. I really hate these guys. Basically, like almost everything else in Halo, they're just gonna drain your ammo. I think I just made them angrier. They even react to bullets and grenades in a natural way. No! No, he dodged it. But the one thing that never made any sense to me is how the aliens don't know where Earth actually is. I know one of you DJs is gonna come into the comments and be like, well, if you actually read the Halo books, you'd know that the reason they don't... But the worst thing about this game is the friendly AI. They usually just stand around being useless, getting in your way, or just dying. Which is actually a good thing because that means that they can't block you or glitch you. But again, guys, this came out in 2001. I mean, look at this Transformers game that came out in 2011. Oh, this hurts my eyes. But looking at Papa Daddy Master Chief in his armor, looking like the Green Goblin and Daft Punk had a baby, heals my eyes again. The water has the same color and tone as liquefied boogers, but seeing that Halo for the first time back in the day would make you evacuate in your trousers. But the best thing about Halo isn't the guns or the maps or running over a bunch of dudes while trying to drift on a warthog. It's the fact that this game made you feel so many emotions and that it made you know one thing for sure. It was the start of an incredible movement in gaming.
It's very real. We're just moments away from midnight, November 9th, and the launch of what is perhaps one of the most anticipated console video games of all time. I'm going to step aside and let these guys tell you what it is.
Well, 3 years later in 2004, Halo 2 drops like Thor's hammer.
We're about an hour away here in Times Square at the Toys R Us. It is mayhem. It's freezing outside, and yet there's hundreds of the Halo Nation out there. It's very, very exciting.
I thought like a 4-hour flight was pretty long coming from Los Angeles. What did you like?
People were so excited for this game, they formed massive lines at midnight just to be the first ones to get their hands on a physical copy of the game.
The line suddenly got much bigger. Oh, look where they got him. They got him behind the door.
There's so many people still waiting in line.
As soon as you load up the game, the first thing you'll notice is... Oh my goodness, Daddy. This is a campaign. No. The campaign. Everything from the Master Chief arguing with his superiors again to the Cubbies having a little shindig is spectacular. You again play as Master Chief, but they also did something almost no other game had done before. You got to play as the bad guy, a disgraced former elite known as the Arbiter. The game opens up with him being punished for failing to stop Master Chief in the last game. And just like with the first game, you are thrown right into the middle of the action, and it doesn't stop or slow down the entire time. The entire game is just one big adrenaline rush. Can we just take a second, guys, and listen to these guitar riffs? How is it so good? The gunplay is fun, the story is great, the lighting was on point, the gameplay is even better than the original. Halo 2 brought people and their various smells and sweat together at LAN parties that just hit different than any online lobby ever will. What was truly groundbreaking about this game was the matchmaking system. It pioneered the use of playlists and multiplayer and then found players of similar skill levels who had also chosen the same mode. But then they shut down the servers in 2010 and disappointed fans everywhere. The worst thing about this game is just that it's not long enough. It's the fact that I know that I'm never gonna get to relive or experience those same feelings and moments like I did when I played the game for the very first time. I'm just chasing a dragon playing this game again, trying to get that first time hit feeling again, and I just can't recapture it. Halo 2 achieved something no other game had at the time. The game broke records for having 1.5 million pre-orders 3 weeks before the release date. On the first day alone, it sold 2.4 million copies across 27 countries and had earned $125 million, beating out the film Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest as the highest grossing release in entertainment history. By 2007, when Halo 3 came out, over 5 million people had played the game. God, I feel like those obscure Sports Center facts that nobody asks about. Let me know in the comments below what your guys' favorite Halo is. The most memorable day of my life was when I walked into a Target in 2007 and walked out on a rainy day with a new Xbox 360. But the 360 wasn't the reason I was bricked up. No, it's what was bundled with the 360. It's just even trying to say this right now. I have goosebumps thinking about the first week when I played Halo on the 360 as an 11-year-old boy. It was the best-selling video game of 2007.
And your G4 08 Game of the Year winner in the closest battle we've ever witnessed is Halo 3 by a margin of only 40 votes.
Selling $170 million in the first 24 hours. This game was so popular that Mountain Dew did something no one expected or wanted and came out with a new soda rather than just making their regular 7-Up runoff and just slapping a label on it and selling it. But enough of that. There's a lot to talk about with this one. From the jaw-dropping maps to getting so frustrated at the weak guns and powerful enemies. Okay, that definitely did work. This game was more than just a game. And more than anything, it captured that moment in time before the world would change forever, and moments like this would only live in our memories. The best thing is the amount of detail they put into this game. There's HDR, global lighting, reflective surfaces, and depth of field during cutscenes. Just imagine saying all this during a date. But the sound design is where you can really see just how much effort was put into this game. But the thing we really care about is this. What are you gonna do? Nothing. What are you gonna do? Nothing. The biggest problem is, again, the AI. Don't get me wrong, the enemy AI is great. But the friendly AI is... Oh my god, look at this. Look at this. Oh god. None of this is... Oh my god, dude. What did they do to your hair? But none of that matters, cause Daddy Master Chief and fan favorite Arbiter. The Coveys aim to bring about the Great Journey, a misguided belief in salvation while the parasitic flood threatens to consume everything in its path. The game ends with the destruction of the Ark, the activation hub for the Halo rings, and Chief making the ultimate sacrifice to ensure victory. But the mission design is more fire than a napalm strike. The levels are massive and sandboxy to give you that freedom to explore and do things your way. You get huge battles, vehicular mayhem, stealth missions, and linear close quarters indoor fighting. Look guys, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. That's all great and stuff, but the most memorable thing about Halo 3 is the multiplayer. Now I didn't know this back then, but the entire time I was playing multiplayer, I was collecting experiences that hearing triple kill or overkill while you're ending people or using the gravity hammer or energy sword. But what made multiplayer really crazy is something most multiplayer games today wouldn't even dare to do: turning on friendly fire. This decision and the resulting outbursts and meltdowns are the origins of the Xbox Live lobby meme. The best part was there was something for everyone. If you didn't want a serious, intense, self-worth questioning experience, you could play Jenga or Griffball. This game is very special to me. I mean, this is the original Fable Halo bundle that came with my 360 15 years ago. It tells you about all the guns and all the vehicles. I still have friends that I made playing this 15 years ago on Xbox Live, still on my friends list. I mean, some of them haven't been on in like 10 years, but they're still there. That's the kind of stuff that just stays with you. To this day, when I hear that intro soundtrack loading up, I get goosebumps and memories that I didn't even know existed. What would you do if you just came out with some of the best FPS games of all time? Release a real-time strategy prequel 2 years later, following a UNSC ship that uncovers a big bad guy plot after running into some Coveys cosplaying as Indiana Jones. Well, the thing I love most is how it stays true to Halo, and while it's obviously very different from any Halo that came before it, it does a great job of making you feel familiar, and it's very easy to get into and sink a ton of hours in. But is it a good RTS game? Well, things get going pretty quickly, and it's not a very hard game to master. From setting up a base and getting units rolling quickly, I wasn't bogged down at all with the minutia of scrolling through a bunch of units. It's easy to see where the upgrades are, and things are explained pretty well. And this is exactly where some of the problems are. Most hardcore RTS players, basically degens who touch less grass than a seahorse, will probably think it's more watered down than a drink from an airport bar. So while it's not a Hearts of Iron in terms of depth and just detail, it is a great game if you're new to the Halo genre or if you're new to RTS games. Surprisingly, the game's aged pretty well, honestly, but the cutscenes in this game are wow.
Set the charges. Return to us. Our patience is not infinite.
And it looks better than most news broadcasts that came out around that time. But there's something really sad about this game. This would be the final game released by Ensemble Studios, the team behind Age of Empires. But they should be proud because unlike some other gaming studios, they went out with a bang. Next up is ODST, and we're going back to classic Halo FPS. But things feel different this time. You're not playing as Master Daddy Papa Chief, and I remember when this game was first announced, my friends and I were like, what do you mean you're not playing as Master Chief? That's like making a Spider-Man game, and instead of playing as Spider-Man, you play some accountant named Jeff. But that raises an important question. Do you need Master Chief to have a good Halo game? We'll find out soon. The game starts with an ODST team going up against the Covenant attack on Earth, but everyone gets separated after some slick moves by Covenant carrier. You play as the Rookie, trying to figure out what happened to your team.
Relax, Rookie, he don't mean nothing.
But along the way, you get these weird flashbacks that show you what happened to the rest of your squad. Wait, why do these guys get all the cool names and I'm just called the Rookie? But at least I'm not called Mickey. They sound more like some weird garage rock band than ODST members. You find this chick and you find out that your ultimate mission is to fight through all the Coveys to get to the AI core. Why do you care about this AI so much? Allegedly, it has vital info about Covenant and Forerunner tech. Now, most people complain that this game is too similar to Halo 3, but there are a few big things that are really different. ODST is darker. Literally, with this noir art style and low lighting that emphasizes how lonely and vulnerable you are. Even multiplayer got an upgrade with firefight mode where you fight off waves of Covenant with your buddies, if you had any. Even more surprisingly, the game sold 2.5 million copies in the first month, proving that the Halo franchise is so popular you don't even need Master Daddy Green Goblin Chief to make bank. The funniest thing about this game are these glitches. You also get one of the most satisfying things you would get in any shooter game: silenced weapons. There's just something about sneaking up behind a guy with a silenced weapon and capping him that elevates your T level so much that you might actually start losing hair. Now, this next Halo is kinda controversial amongst fans, with some saying it's one of the best ever, so let's find out why. In 2010, Halo Reach comes out, and this thing is a visual masterpiece. Did you know the graphics in this were so good that it pushed the 360 to its limits? You had realistic lighting, great animations, nice looking armor, and look at this. This mission has some of the craziest atmosphere and lighting I've ever seen in a game. But nothing can top the unparalleled scale of the battles in Tip of the Spear and Long Night of Solace. Incredibly, one of the best things about Halo Reach is the fact that the story is one of the most emotionally tragic ones in any of the Halo games so far.
Tell him to make it count.
The game is another prequel to the main Halo series as it follows Noble Team, a group of Spartans defending the human colony Reach. As the campaign reaches its tragic climax, Noble Team suffers heavy losses, but in the end, Reach is destroyed and Noble is all done. But the saddest thing, and I'm pretty sure the entire Halo community is gonna agree with me on this, is that this is the last game developed by Bungie, or at least last Halo game. We'll find out soon what exactly that means for the rest of the games coming up in the Halo franchise. But before I get to that, the multiplayer in Reach is great. You can also customize your armor and unlock gear, making the experience more unique. Kind of like adult Build-A-Bear, but less creepy. But the single greatest thing about the multiplayer is Forge World. That's right, Forge World gives you the power to make custom maps on a scale never seen before. The creativity and insane things that the community does with this still today are mind-blowing. But there are some big problems. Parts of the campaign feel rushed, and the constant waves of Covenant after Covenant is different from the nuanced pacing of enemies in the Halo games so far. But again, as with all the Halos so far, one of my favorite things is the glitches. I mean, this is awesome.
Nobody's gonna know.
When Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary came out in 2011, we all thought we were about to get another serving of greatness. Except the minute you load it up and actually start playing, you realize you get the same feeling as if you just had sushi from a gas station. Surprisingly, this game feels very similar to the OG Combat Evolved. While the OG Halo had animations, they weren't exactly groundbreaking. But it was 2001. I guess the Anniversary Edition just decided to ruin it with all this weirdness. Let's start with the characters. I mean, look at the movement of the characters. And it's not like they couldn't do better. I mean, look at Reach. The animations in Reach were fluid and crisp, but the single absolute worst thing they did was ruin the vibe. The thing that made the OG Halo so special was the vibe of each place. This is just... why is everything so bright? But the thing that really rustles my dingleberries is that objects are different sizes in the Anniversary Edition versus the OG. So you line up the perfect shot, take it, and suddenly realize you just hit a tree while that little Oompa Loompa hemorrhoid just keeps chilling. This shouldn't happen. I don't care if you're a AAA studio, AAA baseball team, or a dude with diabetes sitting in a living room coding. You can't make something like this and then charge people money for it. But we're just starting with the disappointment, guys, because in 2012, we got an even worse Halo game with Halo 4. 343 is basically like Yahoo. They have the Midas touch of horse dungus. The game starts off promising, but very quickly goes down the urinal. There are new enemies, but can we get a break from the coveys? Look, I like these deep-fried neon beetles as much as the next guy, but come on. Oh, hey there. These guys look kind of cool. So yeah, we get new enemies in the Prometheans, but these guys are either just annoying or lackluster. But this is just the tip of the turd iceberg. The thing I really hate about this game are the weapons. They're less balanced than your middle school basketball team playing against the 1987 Lakers. But there is this. Light rifle. Right rifle, right rifle, right rifle. You will use the light rifle and you will like it. Here you have knights whose entire purpose is to drain your ammo. ODST and Reach showed us that you don't need Master Chief to have a good Halo game. So why did it go so wrong here? Oh wait, I forgot to talk about some of the things that Halo 4 did best. In 2014, we got Halo Spartan Assault. You just can't have a bad game with a name like that. But this Halo is a little bit different. It's a top-down shooter, but honestly, it's a fun spin-off if you don't take it too seriously, and if you just came off playing Halo 4 like I just did. And, this is a big and, because the game is set between the events of Halo 3 and Halo 4, you get a breath of Promethean free air. Okay, full disclosure, guys, I'm having a fun time. The gameplay is fast-paced, the visuals are nice, even the audio is true to Halo with that iconic shield regeneration sound just giving me shivers right now. I mean, I could sit here and start nitpicking it, but come on. It's a top-down Halo for the Xbox. So for what it is, it's pretty good. If I have to critique something, I guess some of the driving parts would be better with a controller, but just be a big boy and deal with it. Oh yeah, this was a thing. Oh god, I knew this moment was gonna come. You know, if 343 just stuck with the top-down shooters, we'd be chillin', we'd be fine. But no, they gotta put another nail in the turd coffin of Halo. First thing you'll notice is the writing. The writing is so bad, it makes me want to watch Hallmark movies on reruns.
Come on, pick up. It's either me or Christmas, Lydia.
But before I get bricked up with hate, there are some things about this game that don't suck. It introduces fresh ideas like Warzone, has pretty good movement mechanics, and a really good Forge scene. They really did a good job with the multiplayer. This is fun, but it's also where the fun ends. The weirdest, most unfathomable thing is what they did to Cortana. Hey, we should bring Cortana back. That's a dumb idea, but hey, let's make it even worse. Let's make her evil. But the thing that really annoys me and other Halo fans is the marketing. They made you think you were getting a Lambo, but instead you got a fidget spinner that's sticky and covered in weird clumps of hair. The marketing for the game had me bricked up, thinking this was gonna be some dark, gritty game with Chief maybe going rogue, but instead I spent half the game playing as characters I really don't even care about or fighting this Eternal Warden. Eternal is right because this dude is eternally annoying. Did I complain about the Covenant? Cause man, I really miss those guys. No, not you. But hey, at least you get to play as Master Chief for like 5 minutes. Honestly, 343 should hold a TED Talk on how to ruin a beloved franchise so massively. But good news! 343 is finally taking a break from ruining our favorite childhood FPS. In 2017, we got the sequel to the beauty that was Halo Wars with Halo Wars 2. It's pretty much better than Halo Wars 1 in every way. Well, except for one. Those sweet cutscenes. The maps are also kinda eh. But the weirdest Halo came out in 2018. Well, if you want to play this Halo, I hope you like watered down drinks and middle-aged coworkers going wild after finishing their 9 to 5. Because the only way you're gonna get to play this Halo is if you go to a Dave & Buster's. Honestly, seeing a Halo game in an arcade just hits so differently. And the biggest thing I notice is it is literally impossible to avoid damage. The enemies absorb more crap than a ShamWow. The best part about this game is you can play with up to 4 friends, but for that you need 4 friends. And if you're above the age of 25, you know how hard it is just to get 4 people to do something at the same time. But sitting here and playing on this big high fidelity arcade screen, hopefully with friends, is a pretty awesome cinematic experience. The game is set during the Combat Evolved timeline, so you get to fight Covenants and the Flood Boys alongside Papa Chief sometimes. I ended up almost dropping $58 and I didn't even finish the game. But the thing I enjoyed the most about this is that the people who made it actually seemed to care about it and wanted it to be fun. Oh god. Oh god, oh god, no, please. Oh no, please. Finally, on December 8th, 2021, we get Halo Infinite. I guess the worst thing about this game is that it'll be the last Halo for probably a while. But the best thing is that it's probably going to be the last Halo 343 makes for a while. Hopefully forever. A lot of games these days have open world, and some of them are actually good. But there's something missing here. Well, actually, a lot missing, which I'm finding out right now is a metaphor for the whole game. The gameplay's fun, the guns, the mechanics, the movements, but most importantly, the campaign doesn't suck. There just wasn't a lot of content put out during release, and even though the campaign is good, I just don't have the urge to go back and play it again. And unlike some franchises like Resident Evil, which I recently made a video about that you guys should definitely check out, the Halo series has aged like milk, and that's really sad because I grew up with these games. Those early games were a fundamental, just indescribably big part of my childhood.
Say again, Recon? Breaking up. Truth and the Covenant, the Flood, it's finished.
It's finished.